accelerating the process, all right? What I have spent a lot of years with my spiritual development and working with people's health a lot, and that's what I've done for 48 years. I started noticing there are blocks. The blocks that hold us back physically, but these same blocks hold us back spiritually too. And we're going to go through. Oops, I just got to back up a little bit. I didn't mean to do that fast. We're actually, here we are as a physical body. And we go to ego, mind, emotions. That's ego, mind, emotion, part of ourself. And where we need to get is from ego, mind, emotions, let go of that, and get over to spirit. Spirit, oneness, and the higher self of God, connection with God. So one of the areas of blocks are energy blocks. We can have blocks in our meridians, our organs, our chakras, our will centers, our nodal cords. We talked about all this stuff already, auras. All shocks and traumas are major things we involve with this planet we live on. And we also have corrupt energies to get in us to throw us off too. So we need to clear these. Next set of blocks, we come into our emotional, mental. We talked real briefly about perception, belief systems, realities, paradigms, and expectations. You know, most of our mental conditions and are caused from emotions. But you know what? So hard to clear schizophrenia. People know about schizophrenia. You can't treat it in this lifetime. Schizophrenia comes from generations on mother's side of the family or father's side of the family. These are very deep problems. That's why all they do in this world is use medications on them. You got to go back to the problem. It might be 6, 7, usually 6, 7, 8 generations back for schizophrenics. And these generations go deeper on your mother and father's generational side. You have to go back to the origin of problems, clear them from the origin. You can't work in this world if you got a problem in your generational problem or a past life problem. I'll talk to you about that a little later on. And these perceptions, belief systems, realities, and paradigms and expectations cause a lot of this stuff in our lifetime. We have other frequencies in them. We're going to talk about them later on. Generational emotions, I just talked about that. Mother and father's generation. We inherit at conception our mother and father. Good, bad, and ugly about our mother and father. We get both of them. It doesn't matter what it is, but we get it. Then we have what's called past life. We have injuries that have traumatized us in past lives. They've traumatized to a point and they've done damage to our DNA. And guess what? That gets planted for every lifetime. I have people dealing with anywhere from 3 to 5 to 10, 15 lifetimes ago, damage they have. We actually keep bringing it back every lifetime to try to heal it up, working on it. That's what we want to do with it. That's what this whole thing is about. Let's keep coming back to this planet. Is ready to heal ourselves up. And at the same time, heal the planet up. Got to clear those blocks out. The next one are chemical blocks. We have dioxin, DDT, DDE, and PBC. Why I put those 4 chemicals? We have thousands of chemicals. Why put these 4 chemicals up? Because they don't have a half-life. When you've exposed this chemical, it will not break down. DDT is another name for DDT is Agent Orange. Probably all heard of Agent Orange sometime or other, right? Okay, it does not have a half-life. I live in St. Louis, and Monsanto's in St. Louis. I treat a lot of chemists over the years, and I got to treat one of the ladies, Carol Silver, which she's passed on right now, being a very dear friend of mine. But she was one of the inventors of dioxin. It was made for an insulator, insulate electrical, so electrical currents could not come together. That's what they put in these transformers. You see these transformers on the highway all the time. That's what they made that chemical because they were losing energy. Guess what? Somebody spilled it on the ground out in Monsanto, came back the next day and the grass was all dead. Oh my gosh. This started using as a defoliant. There was never a test for a defoliant. It was never treated. It was never examined what kind of effect it had on humans. They just started using defoliant. Monsanto did. And I was a helicopter pilot in Vietnam, and I was exposed to dioxin too. So that was a concern of mine. But you know what? If you look up Wikipedia about dioxin, when I read it out, you'll read about there, it's in our water, it's in our food. So every time you drink a glass of water, drinking water, eating, you have dioxin in it. It doesn't have a half-life. So we have to be forced to live with this chemical. So anyway, we talked about biosystems damages, heavy metals, and also hormones. And a lot of these chemicals affect a lot of hormones we have for people and adrenal problems. These are other blocks. Now we go into the last set of blocks, which is the immune system. What it has to deal with all this stuff in our life is it causes tremendous stress in our immune system. It's probably the most beautiful system in the body I've been studying for the last 25, 27 years. This creates a lot of dysfunction in our immune system. And we have two immune systems. We have a body's immune system and a neural immune system. And then we also have inflammation. We'll talk to you in detail about that too later on. Inflammation, when you have inflammation, that's a marker for autoimmune. Autoimmune means premature degeneration. This is why we have people die in the 60s, 70s, and 80s when this body's made to live 120 years plus. So we'll talk to you about inflammation later on too. That's something I've spent a lot of time looking and researching for a long time. We got other old viruses that live in us, autoimmune problems, which you talked about is inflammation, the spike protein caused from these vaccinations we've had. So there we go. We clear these blocks. This allows you to accelerate through the ascension process for you. We can actually get people anywhere from 60 to 80% accelerate through the ascension process if you want to do that work. So let me explain a little bit different about the body, all about the energetic body and the memory body. Now, I'm going to explain you some things probably you never heard before, but that's okay. It's a new way of being. We have what really causes all our problems in life is shocks and traumas. A shock is something that happens to you. You think things are supposed to go this way, and you get shocked because all of a sudden it turns out 180 degrees different than anything you ever thought about. That's a shock to you. Whether it's physical, mental, emotional, it shocks you. That turns things off on you. Traumatize you. Actually alters your aura around here, which is your holographic being. Then we have traumas that have traumas that happen to you, are done on a physical level, physical falls and injuries, mental, emotional, chemicals we talked about already, and thermal stress, which we've not talked about. Those are the four major causes of most of the traumas that we have in life. But guess what? We have this holographic being around us, okay? We call it aura, 3 to 5 feet, if you want to. We are actually a hologram is what we are. See, this is our brain. This is our hardware. That's not our software. Our software is stored out here. So a holographic being. You ever ask somebody a question, they'll look to their left. If you watch people ask a question, you'll see their eyes move left and right or down. They're actually trying to search a memory out. That holographic being. That's how you're trying to find that memory. If you ask questions, you'll see people do it. Look right, left, then we'll answer your question, all right? So we are holographic beings. So anything that gets to us has to go through this energetic body first, okay? Now, when it gets to the energetic body, guess what? It alters our energetic body, alters our memory too. What do we have a backup system to allow us to adapt? See, we're adaptive society. We have adapted so much through the years and centuries and millenniums. And our adaptation process is what I'm going to talk about right now. This allows us to adapt. In the adaptation process we have, when you get back to this holographic memory, the second memory is the DNA. We finally found out 23 years ago, oh my God, epigenetics exists, and our DNA is not fixed, we're not stuck. And it's constantly changing DNA, constantly changing. When you alter this holographic being, how you survive with that adaptation is you alter the DNA. So there's both work back and forth. I know when I treat people all the time, I'm constantly treating a DNA, resetting a DNA, and I have to reset the holographic being. You have to do both those to get healing. Another thing that's very important too, you've got to find out when the trauma existed. The trauma might exist in this lifetime. That's fine. Might exist in with their mother and father's generations. Or it might exist also in a past life. To get things really to heal up in the body, you've got to go to the origin of the issue. Because as soon as you clear the origin out with DNA and holographic meaning, it's like a domino effect. Everything goes. Those 6 past lives goes right to conception, to birth, birth to present time. All that DNA alters. All that system alters. Very few people, I'm sorry, understand that. I was trying to teach doctors and I just could not get it. I don't know why. I think it's so simple. The process is. So how to heal process, you have to heal from the inside out. DNA has to heal, and then you can heal the holographic memory. Our adaptation processes, we go a little bit more timing on this. We talked about shocks and traumas already. I said before, you got to find the origin of things. Is this inherited? or adaptation process? Was it inherited adaptation that you had from your mother side of the family, generational, 6, 7, 8, 12 generations or something like that? How about father's generation? So these alter our DNA and our emotions and weaknesses up here. We also have past lives, past life traumas. You got to go to the past life. You got to do the work from that point in order to clear the people out, to allow them to heal. Next one, we have conceptions. At conception, spermatogenesis, the study of spermatogenesis, when the egg and the ovum come together, the ovum actually explodes, opens up for the sperm to come in. The sperm clamps down, the ovum clamps back down, cuts the sperm in half, cuts the tail off. That's a traumatic event. Guess what? That alters DNA. That also can actually put in emotional events in that trauma, because that's a coming together of life force in there. I find a lot of conceptual DNA damage sometimes. Then we have what's other ones, which is called vanishing twins. You can actually get damage from conception to birth. There's a lot of different traumas can happen to mother and things like that. Actually, very interesting for these ladies that have children. 85% of the emotions, 85% of emotions a mother has when she's carrying a child is the baby's emotion, not hers. That's why they get. I've had that happen over and over in the office and treat the baby's emotions inside the mother, and all of a sudden the mother calms down. It's an amazing thing to watch and see happen. Next thing, we have traumas and shocks. What? In this lifetime, we have injuries, emotions, chemical stresses and thermal stresses.